What you get from a credit limit increase is nothing compared to what you give up when you ask for a higher credit limit. How are you guys doing today? My name is Apple, and today we are filling in the financial gap between schools and the real world. And today we're answering the question of, should you get a credit limit increase on your credit card? Should you ask for a credit limit increase? That is the question. I've gotten it a couple times, and I figured it was time to address it in a video. So let's hop right in. What we're going to cover in this video is what is a credit limit increase, the pros, the cons, and then what, in my opinion, is the better option instead of a credit limit increase. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is a credit limit increase? Essentially, they are increasing the credit limit on your credit card. So with any credit card, you're going to have a credit limit, and that's going to be the maximum amount of money you can spend on that card before you have to start paying it off. Now, some examples could be like $5,000, $1,000, $500, anything like that, just examples of credit limits. And once you hit that number, you have maxed out your credit card. You can no longer put more money on that without paying it off. And you should really never be in that situation. You'd never max out a credit card. That's just a terrible idea. But that's what a credit limit is. Now, there's two ways to actually get a credit limit. The first way is just through responsible use. So if you're using your credit card responsibly, you're paying it off in full every single month, you're paying it off ahead of time in some cases, your credit card company is going to see that. They're going to be like, hey, this person's pretty responsible. I think we can give them some additional credit. So they'll go ahead and do that. And that's really just for them to encourage you to spend more money, but you're smarter than that, and you're not going to spend more money just because you can. You're going to spend the same amount of money that you could, that you were before, and the same amount of money that you need to get by. Now, the second way to get a credit limit increase, besides your bank doing it automatically, is actually going to your bank and asking for a credit limit increase. Now, this garners some pros and cons that we're going to be talking about right now. So the main pro that people think about when they decide to ask for a credit limit increase is the effect that it's going to have on their credit utilization. Now, if you're not familiar with the term credit utilization, it's essentially just how much of your available credit you are utilizing. So it's a percentage, and it just states how much of your credit you're utilizing. For an example, say you've got a $10,000 credit limit, and you spend $3,000 in a month. So your credit utilization ratio would be 30%. Obviously, 3 out of 10, you get 30%. Cool. Now, that's your credit utilization ratio, but what is a good one? What's a good credit utilization ratio? Well, in general, if you want it to have a positive impact on your credit score, you want to keep it below 30% is where you want it to be. So here, we're right on the border, not too great. If you want it to have the best impact on your credit score, you want it to be below 10%, and the absolute best, the quintessential credit utilization ratio is a 1%, guys. So I made some videos about how to actually get a 1% utilization ratio, even if you spend more money than that. So be sure to check those out. But yeah, you want to shoot for that 1%. So people think if I ask for a higher credit limit, I'm going to have a lower utilization, and that's going to benefit my credit score. That's the main reason people think about asking for a credit limit increase. Now, additionally, they have more spending power, which really shouldn't matter. You shouldn't be needing more spending power than you have on your credit card. If you do, just use a debit card for that. Yeah. So don't be maxing out your credit cards. Don't be doing anything irresponsible there. So the spending increasing potential shouldn't really play a factor in you asking for a credit limit increase. Now, there are some serious cons that we have to talk about with credit limit increases because they are there. The first one is a hard inquiry. All right, guys. So another factor influencing your credit score is the number of hard inquiries on your credit report. Now, what the heck is a hard inquiry? I've never heard of that before. Like, what does that even mean? So essentially, when you apply for a new line of credit, or in this case, a greater line of credit, the bank or whoever you're asking for credit is going to run a credit inquiry on your report. Basically, just lets them see what's on there, what's up, are you making your payments, what's your credit look like, all this good stuff. They just get a big picture of what your credit is like, and that is called them running a hard inquiry on your credit report. Now, a common misconception is that when you check your credit score, it actually runs a hard inquiry. This is not the case. When you check your credit score or you check your credit report, this will have no effect on your credit score. This is only when you are applying for more credit, then they're going to run a hard inquiry on your report. If you're not applying for more credit, then there is no hard inquiry run. Now, this only impacts 10% of your credit score, so it won't have that big of an impact, but you do want to keep these at a minimum, because if banks see you applying for a lot of loans in a short amount of time, they're not going to like that. They're going to see that as more risky, and they're less likely to approve you for either a credit card, a mortgage, an auto loan, all of that good stuff. Now, some banks actually don't run a hard inquiry when you ask for a credit limit increase. Pretty much all banks are going to run one when you ask for a new credit line, a new credit card, new mortgage, whatever. But some banks, American Express in particular, I've heard reports that they don't always run hard inquiries. And there's a lot of other banks that will like sometimes do it, sometimes won't. But if you just ask them when you are applying for the credit limit increase, if it's going to be a hard or soft inquiry, then they'll be able to tell you. And if they say it's a hard inquiry, then know that it's going to negatively impact your credit score for a short amount of time. Hard inquiries only last on your report for about 2 years. However, their effects tend to fade after the first 6 months. So keep that in mind when you're applying for any new line of credit. It is going to run a hard inquiry on your report. Whether or not you get approved, that hard inquiry is still going to be there. And in general, if they're not going to run a hard inquiry, I would say take it. I would say take the credit limit increase, because if they're not going to run a hard inquiry, it's not going to hurt you at all. In fact, it might benefit you. Again, with the credit utilization example, if you got more available credit, you've got a lower utilization. So in general, I would say if they're not going to run a hard inquiry, you might as well just take it. All right, next con is that it might cause you to spend more. So again, like we said before with our pros, you have more spending power, and the cons is this might cause you to spend more money that you wouldn't have ordinarily spent, just because you have that higher limit. You now have in your head, oh, I can now spend this much money instead of this much money, when in reality, you should really just be spending the same amount of money regardless of your credit limit. So in general, that's a pretty big con, actually. People tending to spend more money when they have a higher credit limit. So don't fall into that trap. Don't let those credit card companies get you, and spend the same amount of money regardless of your credit limit. Now, credit cards have a huge potential to help you out, not only as a college student, but throughout the rest of your life. Building credit early on is going to give you huge advantages over many of your peers, give you a huge leg up, but only if you use it responsibly. So if you're not ready to use your credit card responsibly, if you're not ready to start building credit in a responsible manner, I would recommend you go check out Dave Ramsey. He's got an interesting YouTube channel. He's very passionate about not going into debt.
The borrower is slave to the lender. That's what this math says. When you give up your income, when you give your income away, you have nothing.
So if you're very anti-debt, check out Dave Ramsey. He's got some good tips or advice or something or other for you if you're not looking to go into debt. But in my opinion, skip Dave Ramsey, skip the cons. The better option for your credit limit increase is to just apply for a new line of credit. So in my opinion, it's much more beneficial to apply for a new line of credit than it is to ask for a credit limit increase. Now, why is this? Why would you go out and ask for a new credit card? I already have a credit card. I don't need another credit card, but I would ask for another one. Well, the thing is, when you apply for a credit limit increase, if you need more credit line, if you want more credit line, it's going to run a hard inquiry most times. Same thing is going to happen when you apply for a new line of credit. So if you're trading off between getting a new line of credit or asking for a credit limit increase, and both are going to run a hard inquiry, the better option is definitely the new line of credit. Now, why is this? Well, one of the factors of your credit score is how many lines of credit you have. Now, what surprises a lot of people, that surprised me at first as well, is for the number of lines of credit to have a beneficial impact on your credit score, you want to guess how many you need? 11. You need at least 11 lines of credit for it to have a beneficial impact on your credit score, which blows a lot of people's minds. To have the greatest impact on your credit score, you need to have at least 20, which is just like, whoa, 20 credit cards, 20 lines of credit, that's bananas. But what the credit bureaus want to see is they want to see you can manage a ton of lines of credit. So having more lines of credit is going to greatly benefit your credit score. So you've got the more lines of credit, so you've got more credit lines, and you've got a lower credit utilization because you've got a higher limit now that you have this additional card with another credit limit. So you've just increased your total credit limit, therefore decreasing your utilization ratio because you're not spending more when you got this new card, and you have added a new line of credit to your account, to your profile, to your credit report. So that's beneficial. And again, you still have that hard inquiry. that you're going to get with the credit limit increase, but instead of just benefiting your credit utilization, you now benefit your credit utilization and your credit limit, your lines of credit. So you get two benefits, basically. Kill two birds with one stone instead of just having that one benefit. So I figure if you're taking a hard inquiry anyway, if you're taking a hard inquiry to your report, you might as well just apply it for a new line of credit, because that's going to allow you to increase your credit score even more in the long term. So that's my 2 cents on whether or not you should ask for a credit limit increase. In my opinion, if there's going to be a hard inquiry run, you might as well just apply for a new line of credit. If there's no hard inquiry going to be run, might as well accept it. And if your bank is just giving it to you for responsible spending, might as well just accept it, because there's no downside to that. They're just giving it to you. There's no hard inquiry. So that's my 2 cents. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do subscribe down below if you made it all the way to the end. Also click on that little bell icon so you're notified anytime I put out another video like this. Share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it, anyone who you think is considering asking for a credit limit increase or has in the past. I will see you guys tomorrow, and until next time. Wait. I did not mean to clap yet. I was supposed to mention our sponsors in this video. Let me check. Oh, wait, it's me. Well, in that case, if you are a college student or otherwise financially strapped individual looking to invest, I put together a completely free course. Link for that will be found in the description below. It's called $100 and a Smartphone, and it's going to walk you through the process of putting your first $100 to work from the comfort of your smartphone. Included in this course is a free 30-minute Skype call with yours truly. So if you want to talk through any personal finance related topics that relate to you personally, some one-on-one stuff, if you're interested all in that, be sure to sign up for one of those. And yeah, if you're interested in more details, the link will be in the description below, and it is 100% free.